No, Mika, is fascinating seeing something over the last 2 days that we've yet to see, and that is Republicans running for office, actually starting to tell the truth, or at least some of the truth, about Donald Trump. We saw Chris Christie go there, and when I say go there, I mean actually tell the truth about who Donald Trump is and the impact of the last 7 or 8 years. I must say, I didn't even expect Mike Pence to be as aggressive as he was yesterday. And I think it may suggest that a lot of these candidates know something's coming down the pike against Donald Trump, and that he's going to be in a 4-weekend state after this indictment.
Yeah, Chris Christie has been throwing some major truth bombs. He is extremely aggressive as he launches his campaign. Former Vice President Mike Pence launched his bid for the White House and made the announcement during a rally outside Des Moines, Iowa yesterday afternoon, and it happened on his 64th birthday. During his speech, Pence made his most aggressive attack against Donald Trump to date, saying his former boss does not deserve to be back in the White House.
January 6th was a tragic day in the life of our nation. But thanks to the courage of law enforcement, the violence was quelled, and we reconvened the Congress the very same day to complete the work of the American people under the Constitution of the United States. As I've said many times, on that fateful day, President Trump's words were reckless. They endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol. But the American people deserve to know that on that day, President Trump also demanded that I choose between him and the Constitution. Now voters will be faced with the same choice. I chose the Constitution. I believe that anyone who puts themselves over the Constitution should never be President of the United States. And anyone who asks someone else to put them over the Constitution should never be President of the United States again.
You know, it's absolutely fascinating. And by the way, Meacham, I've just got to say, you and me, I'm a Baptist. You're a Episcopalian. I mean, but we still come from that Protestant part of the faith where it's very interesting. Some people don't like converts. That's what our faith is built on. You know, John Wayne wants to convert to Christianity in his deathbed. Amen. A bell rings in heaven.
Take him.
Right? Take them. We'll take them, right?
Take them.
You gotta
hunt where the ducks are, Joe.
Exactly.
You gotta hunt where the ducks are.
And whether you get that duck early in the morning or late at night, you know, but it is fascinating that the thing I've found about some people on the left, since I've been aligned with them in a fight against anti-democratic forces in America, fascist forces in America, they'll look back and say, well, you know, he did this or that or the other back in da-da-da. We want no part of him. No, we throw open the church doors and say, brothers, sisters, come in. We want you.
Come on in.
That's why these people look at what Mike Pence did. Yeah, Mike Pence did a lot of stuff we knocked him around hard for. But on January the 6th, he and Dan Quayle, they just may have helped save democracy. And yesterday, he finally spoke truth to power. Is this something to celebrate, or is this something to attack? Because he's had a bad record in the past. I like the conversion myself, even if it's a conversion for a day.
Absolutely. You know, one of the great lines in American literature is Mark Twain has Tom Sawyer say, an evangelist came to town who was so good that even Huck Finn was saved until Monday. You know, so you want to keep them till Monday. No, I don't think it's to be attacked. I think that what the Vice President Pence is a really interesting example of the issues of the era, right? He absolutely, and anyone who doubts the role of human agency in constitutional affairs the story of Mike Pence is vital. Had he not done what he did on January 6th, chaos would have resulted. It is not implausible to argue that chaos would have unfolded over several days, possibly weeks, which would then have forced the Congress to send the election to the House of Representatives, which, and the Republicans had in the unit rule a majority. And presumably then Donald Trump would have been elected president by the House of Representatives. That was the chaos theory. And if you think I'm making that up, that's what Peter Navarro and others laid out, right? That's what they wanted to do. Mike Pence stood in the breach. He gave a good speech yesterday. But then, and I think someone else did this, maybe Haley did this, then he says, but if Trump's the nominee, he didn't say this, but if Trump's the nominee, he will support the nominee. Right? So there's the whole era in a news cycle. There's courage. There's an example of courage under fire. And anybody, and there may be center left folks who think that you shouldn't celebrate someone for doing their duty. It is just, here's a human history biographical fact check. A president of the United States bears down on you in the Oval Office at the highest levels, putting this choice to you, this Faustian choice to you. It's not easy to do your duty. I wish if it were easy, you wouldn't call it duty. Okay? So I do not believe on the conversion point with my Baptist colleague. I don't think you apply a character test for a conversion. If you applied a character test, you wouldn't need the conversion, right?
Right.
That said, what the last thing he said about supporting the nominee no matter what contradicts his very eloquent statement earlier in the day. And I think that's the question that needs to be resolved.
It's a trick question, Joe.
So let me synthesize that for everybody that rightly would look at that, and we hear this all the time. First of all, if you were running for president in either party, you're going to be asked that question. And if you say no, you don't have a chance to win. Let me also say they now have that as a requirement of the debates.
Exactly.
I think everybody understands this is a phony question. They understand that Donald Trump will be asked this question. They understand that Donald Trump may lie about this question and say, well, yes, of course I will, but I'm going to win. And then after he answers that question and loses, of course, he will not support the person and will do everything he can if it's Ron DeSantis to stop Ron DeSantis from being elected. So I understand people focusing on that process question, but it is a process question. You have to check the box, then you can move forward and start your campaign. I strongly suspect that many of these people that will answer that process, oh, yeah, I have to check the box before I start my campaign, will check that box. And then when the time comes, I would not be surprised to see them backing off of that. And I just also want to say this, Mika. And I know that, again, this is another thing that people say, not just about Mike Pence, but Mitch McConnell, other people who on January the 6th stood up in ways behind the scenes and in front of cameras. You know, we would have all done the right thing. I know all of you, and I know all of us in that position would have done the right thing. I also know we've spent the past 7 years horrified that someone doing their duty, well, that wasn't such an easy thing. James Mattis did his duty, but a lot of other people in the cabinet didn't do their duty. Mike Pence did his duty on January the 6th, but we can name a lot more people who did not do their duty. So, yeah, doing your duty, that's not, doing what you're supposed to do, being responsible. Not a big deal, really, except when nobody else around you is doing it. And then, well, you may have just done something fairly significant.
And I think meeting in the middle here about I get it. You'll take a conversion wherever you can find it at any moment at the gates of heaven. At the same time, I think, Willie, down the road, Mike Pence will have to answer some questions as to why now he has converted so strongly as opposed to the time when he was serving. And he will deal with those questions.
Yeah, as John suggested, and it's not just Mike Pence. Chris Christie's been asked these questions. He's come out really tough against Donald Trump, and was asked in a New Hampshire town hall. Okay, given everything you just said, so now would you take Hillary Clinton in 2016 over Donald Trump? No. I mean, I would still take Trump over Hillary Clinton, despite everything I just said, that he undermined the Constitution and everything else.